Good morning, good afternoon, good evening for you joining me. Thank you for your time. And today's daf is Nazir Daf 8. So let's dive straight in. So the mission says, Hareini Nazir Bish'ar Roshi. If one says, I'm hereby Nazir like the hair of my head. So what does that mean? One who says, I'm hereby Nazirite like the hair of my head, or like the dust of the earth, is considered to accept upon himself terms of Naziriteship corresponding to the number of hairs on his head. He must therefore shave his hair and bring offerings every 30 days for the rest of his life. Rama Sefer Hafla Hilchah Nazirit 3:18. Or like the dust of the earth, or like the sand of the sea, he's a Nazirite forever. He's accepted a separate term of Naziriteship for every hair or particle of dust or sand, which in practice means that he will be a Nazirite forever, and he shaves his hair once every 30 days. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi says that this Nazirite does not shave his hair once every 30 days. The commentators disagree as to the status of this individual according to Rabbi Yehuda Nasi. Some say that he has the status of a permanent Nazirite who trims his hair and brings offerings once every 12 months. But I'm going to say a commentary on the Mishnah and Meiri. This is the explanation cited in the Jewish Talmud. Others maintain that according to Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, his status is like one who accepts a 100-year term of Naziriteship, C7a, and he may never cut his hair. But I'm going to say commentary on Nazir, Tosfot, and the Rosh. As he accepted upon himself a long term of Naziriteship lasting for as many days as are hairs or particles of dust or sand. And who is a Nazirite who shaves his hair once every 30 days? One who says, it is hereby incumbent upon me to observe the Naziriteship like the hair of my head, or like the dust of the earth, or like the sand of the sea. Since he used the plural term Naziriteships, it is clear that he is accepting distinct terms of Naziriteship. If one says, I am hereby Nazirite in accordance with the capacity of the house, so what does that mean? Manoha bias. This refers to the capacity of a house or basket that is currently empty, Tosfot. If the house or basket was filled with items, he would be obligated to observe the term of Naziriteship for each item in the house or basket. If one says, I'm hereby Nazirite in accordance with the capacity of the house, or according to the capacity of the basket, he is asked to clarify what he meant. If he explains that he meant to accept a term of Naziriteship, he's a Nazirite for 30 days. If he says he vowed to be a Nazirite without any specific intention, the basket is seen as though it were full of mustard seeds, and consequently he is a Nazirite forever and cuts his hair every 12 months. This is according to the decision cited in Jewish Talmud, Rama Sefer Hilchah Nazirit 3:17. Or the capacity of the basket, one checks with him. Rabbeinu Todros, cited in Shita Mechubeses, asks why one checks with the individual in this case, but not in the first case of the Mishnah, where one accepted Naziriteship like the hairs of his head. It is not possible that in the earlier case as well, one intended to accept a single term of Naziriteship that seemed large and daunting to him. He answers that the basket is a single unit, and therefore the intention must be clarified. Conversely, the hairs on one's head are many separate units, and therefore one who uses this language has accepted many terms of Naziriteship. What he had in mind, if he said my intention was to take a Nazirite vow for one long term of Naziriteship, he's a Nazirite for only 30 days. And according to the ruling of the Mishnah that the words long or short are of no account when used in a Nazirite vow, 7a, if he said I took a Nazirite vow without specification, the Rosh explains that he says that he had no particular intention in mind and relied on the sages to clarify his statement. See Tosfos Yom Tov. It is assumed that he meant to accept upon himself terms of Naziriteship corresponding to the number of items that fit into a basket, and the smallest items normally placed in baskets are used for this evaluation. Consequently, one who views the basket as though it were full of mustard seeds, which are extremely small, and is a Nazirite for his entire life. So the footnote here, they give some pictures of a white mustard seed plant, a black mustard seed plant, seeds of black and white mustard plants. Chardal, mustard. Mustard is produced from several plants, including the white mustard plant, Sinapis nigra, and the black mustard plant, Brassica nigra. Often seeds from different plants are mixed together. These plants come from the Brassicas family and grow wild in Eretz Yisrael. Black mustard has tangled branches and grows in bunches of large crowded flowers. The condiment mustard is produced from its seeds. Black mustard is the largest plant in the brassica family, normally reaching anywhere from 0.5 to 2 meters in height, and in some uncommon cases growing up to 5 meters. Mustard seeds are small, around 1.5 to 2 millimeters in width, and they are therefore used as an example of something very small, as in the Gemara here. If one says, I am hereby a Nazirite, from here until such and such a place. If one says, I am hereby a Nazirite from here until such and such a place, if he has not yet set out on his way, then he is a Nazirite for 30 days. If he is set out on his journey and the place is less than 30 days walk away, he is a Nazirite for 30 days. If the place is farther away than that, he observes one term of Naziriteship lasting as long as the number of days of travel remaining on his journey. This is in accordance with the explanation cited in the Gemara 7a, Rambam Sefer Hafla, Hilchot Nazirit 3.5. One estimates how many days it will take to walk from here until such and such a place. If it is less than 30 days, he is Nazirite for 30 days, since this is the minimum term of Naziriteship, and if not, if he takes more than 30 days to walk that distance, he is Nazirite in accordance with the number of days it takes to walk to that place. If one says, I am hereby Nazirite in accordance with the number of days in the solar year, if one says, I am hereby Nazirite in accordance with the number of days in a year, he must observe 354 terms of Naziriteship, each lasting 30 days. This corresponds to the number of days in a non-leap year in the Jewish calendar, as that is what people generally mean when they refer to a year. However, if one explicitly refers to a solar year, he must observe 365 terms of Naziriteship, and that's in Rambam Sefer Hilchot Nazirit 3.7. He counts 365 consecutive Naziriteships in accordance with the number of days in the solar year. Rabbi Yehuda says there was an incident where someone took this vow and observed 365 consecutive to the Naziriteship. Once he completed all the Naziriteship, he died. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi cited in the Jewish Talmud as explaining that the individual was blessed with a long life so that he could complete his terms of Naziriteship. The Mishnah taught that if one said, I am hereby Nazirite in accordance with the capacity of the basket, and he did not specifically intend to accept one term of Naziriteship, and one views the basket as though it were full of mustard seeds, and he is a Nazirite for his entire life. The Gemara asks, but why does one view the basket as though it were full of mustard seeds? Let us view it as though it were full of cucumbers. Keenan Malay Kushuin. Tosafot point out that the Gemara could have said full of dough or any other substance that would fill the basket entirely. He explains, since the mission mentioned mustard seeds, the Gemara gives an example involving larger produce, but the question allows for the possibility that one may be obligated in only one term of Naziriteship as well as see Karen Ora or gourd, which are much larger. The basket would consequently hold fewer of them, and there would be a remedy for him, i.e. he would be able to complete his Naziriteship and resume living as a non-Nazirite. In response to this question, Chizkiah said, this issue is taught as a dispute between the Tanaim, and the Mishnah is in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Shimon, who said, a person places himself, Naziriteship is accepted with a vow, and there's a principle with regard to vows, that when the vow is expressed ambiguously, it is interpreted based on the intentions of the individual who took the vow. This dispute between Rabbi Shimon and Rabbi Yehuda is about whether the speaker meant to take the vow even if it was impossible to determine some of the details pertaining to the vow, and this lack of certainty entails stringency, or if it is assumed that he certainly did not intend to accept the vow under these circumstances. In the Tosefta, explain that they differ with regard to whether one who unwittingly takes the Nazirite vow must be the Naziriteship. Rabbi Shimon maintains that such a Naziriteship takes effect, whereby Rabbi Yehuda believes that a mistaken Naziriteship does not take effect. In a state where the resulting uncertainty is more stringent than if there was certainty. One explanation of this phrase, as it applies in the case in the Mishnah, is that the stringency arises because of the ambiguous statement. Had he been clearer, he would have been obligated to be Nazirite only for the duration that explicitly stated. And that's from Rabbi Abraham Minhaha. However, most of the commentators explain that since it is unclear how many terms of Naziriteship he intends to accept, once he has completed terms of Naziriteship corresponding to the number of cucumbers or gourds that could fit into the house or basket, he has the state of an uncertain Nazirite. The halacha that apply to an uncertain Nazirite are more stringent than those that apply to one who definitely accepted terms of Naziriteship according to the number of mustard seeds that can fit into the house or basket. If he was a definite Nazirite, he would shave his hair and bring offerings every 30 days. An uncertain Nazirite can never shave his hair due to the prohibition against rounding off the corners of his head, which he would transgress if he was not really a Nazirite. He also is unable to bring the offerings of a Nazirite. In case he is not a Nazirite, he will thereby be bringing non-consecrated animals into the temple courtyard. He cannot even bring the offerings on a voluntary basis, since they are included in a sin offering, which cannot be brought on a voluntary basis. I.e., an individual willingly accepts conditions that are ambiguous, although this may cause him to have to keep a more stringent halacha if the uncertainty is not clarified. This is as is taught in the Bible with regard to one who says, I am hereby Nazirite on the condition that this pile of grain will be found to contain at least 100 core. If one says, I am Nazirite, if this pile will be found to contain at least 100 core, and turns out the pile has been stolen or lost and cannot be measured, he is not a Nazirite. In a case of uncertain Nazirite is treated leniently in accordance to the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda, Rambam Sefer Flah, Hilchot Nazir 2:9, or lost, and he went to measure the pile and found it was stolen. V'halech mutzao nignav. In this case, the individual in certain states as a Nazirite requires him to act more stringently than if he were certainly a Nazirite. Due to the possibility that he is not a Nazirite, he cannot bring offerings a Nazirite must bring at the conclusion of his term of Naziriteship. However, due to the possibility that he is a Nazirite, he cannot cut his hair or drink wine without having brought the offerings. Therefore, he must refrain from cutting his hair and drinking wine indefinitely. The solution for such an individual is to state, I am not a Nazirite due to my previous statement. I hereby accept Naziriteship. That would cause him to certainly be a Nazirite. So if I am not a Nazirite due to my previous statement, I am hereby accept Naziriteship. This would cause him to certainly be a Nazirite, and 30 days later he may bring the offerings and conclude Naziriteship. However, if he became impure due to a corpse before he made the second statement, he cannot bring the offerings of an impure Nazirite, and he must observe the restriction of Naziriteship indefinitely, and that's from the Tosfot and the Rosh. Making it impossible to determine whether it contained 100 core. Rabbi Shimon prohibits him to drink wine or cut his hair, as he holds that in the case of uncertain Naziriteship, one is required to act stringently. Similarly, in the case in the Mishnah, since it is not known whether one intended to accept Naziriteship according to the number of mustard seeds in the basket or according to the number of gourds there, he must act stringently. Conversely, Rabbi Yehuda permits him to drink wine or cut his hair, as he holds in a case of uncertain Naziriteship, one is permitted to act leniently. The Naziriteship does not take effect, since the pile might have contained less than 100 core. Rabbi Yochanan said, you can even say that the Mishnah is according to the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda because the cases in the Mishnah and in the Brayta are not comparable. There, in the case discussed in the Brayta, he does not necessarily even enter the state of Naziriteship. Since it is uncertain whether or not he accepts Naziriteship, he is not considered a Nazirite. This is because it is assumed that he did not want to enter into Naziriteship with an ambiguous statement, said the Rosh. Rabbeinu Peretz explains that the speaker merely stated his intention to clearly accept Naziriteship upon measuring the pile. Rabbeinu Azriel, cited in Shita Mechubeses, explains that since he was not yet a Nazirite when he made a statement, he is presumed to maintain his pious status until it can be proven otherwise. In the case of in the Mishnah, however, one certainly accepted Naziriteship, and the question pertains to the number of times he accepted. Consequently, he must remain a Nazirite until it is clear that his terms are complete. As it is unclear whether the pile contained the core of grain, consequently he retains his previous status and is not considered a Nazirite. Conversely, in the case discussed here in the Mishnah, he certainly enters in the state of Naziriteship, since he undoubtedly vowed to be a Nazirite for some period of time. Consequently, how is it possible to remove the state of Naziriteship from him when it is uncertain when his terms end? Therefore, even Rabbi Yehuda would agree that he remains a Nazirite indefinitely. The Gemara asks, why is it not possible to remove him from the state of Naziriteship? Let us view the basket as though it were full of cucumbers or gourds. As he accepted at least as many terms of Naziriteship as the number of cucumbers or gourds that can fit in a basket, and in this way there will be a remedy for him. It entered our minds, Tosfos and Rabbeinu Peretz explain that this sentence concludes the Gemara's question, and it reads as follows: since the individual accepted a separate term of Nazirite for each item that can fit into his house or basket, once he observes a single term, he brings the offerings for concluding that term. At that point, since it's not clear whether he accepts additional terms, Rabbi Yehuda should exempt him from Nazirite, just as he is quoted in the Brisa as exempting one who never clearly accepted Nazirite. According to his explanation, the wording of the Gemara at the beginning of the following page must be adjusted slightly. Alternatively, it is explained in the commentary on Nazir that this statement is the start of the Gemara's answer and is read as follows: the speaker did not accept separate terms of Nazirite, as Rabbi Yehuda agreed with Rabbi Yehuda Nasi that he accepted one long term of Nazirite. Consequently, since it is unclear that the term ends, he can never bring the offerings brought at the conclusion of Nazirite, and he must observe the restrictions of Nazirite indefinitely. According to his explanation, the wording of the Gemara here must be adjusted slightly to say that it is distinct Nazirite to accept upon himself, and so once he's completed the minimal number of Nazirite, he should no longer be considered a Nazirite unless it can be determined that he accepted more than this number of terms of Nazirite. The Gemara answers, this is not possible. Rabbi Yehuda holds in contrary opinion of Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, as we learn in the Mishnah 8a, with regard to one who vows, I am hereby a Nazirite like the hair of my head. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi says the Nazirite does not shave his hair once every 30 days, as he is considered to accept the one long term of Nazirite. And who is the Nazirite who accepted distinct terms of Nazirite and therefore shaves his hair once every 30 days? One who says, is it common upon me to observe the Nazirite ships like the hair of my head, or like the dust of the earth, or like the sand of the sea? Since Rabbi Yehuda agreed with Rabbi Yehuda Nasi that he holds that one who uses a formulation similar to that used in the first case in the Mishnah, and says, I am hereby a Nazirite according to the capacity of the basket, has accepted one long term of Nazirite. The Gemara asks, does Rabbi Yehuda hold according to the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda Nasi? But then we learn in the Mishnah that if one says, I am hereby a Nazirite in accordance with the number of days in the solar year, he counts 365 consecutive Nazirite ships in accordance with the number of days in the solar year. Rabbi Yehuda said there was an instant where someone took this vow and observed 365 consecutive terms of Nazirite ship. Once he completed all these terms of Nazirite ship, he died. The Gemara explains its question. Granted, if you say that he accepts upon himself many Nazirite ships, this is the reason for his statement that once he completed all these terms of Nazirite ship, he died. However, if you say that Rabbi Yehuda does not agree with the unattributed opinion of the Mishnah and holds that he accepted upon himself one term of Nazirite ship lasting 365 days, is there completion here at all? It is explained in the commentary on Nazir that according to Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, the individual has not undertaken 365 terms of Nazirite ship, but lasts for 30 days, each of which lasts for 30 days. Rather, each term lasts 365 days. Alternatively, the statement is understood as referring to one term of Nazirite ship for as long as the sun shines, i.e. forever. Either way, it's possible for the individual to complete his terms of Nazirite ship. Other commentators hold that according to Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, the individual has accepted one term of Nazirite ship lasting 365 days. Accordingly, the Rid explains that if Rabbi Yehuda agreed with his opinion, he would not have noted that there was an incident in which the individual completed this term and then died, as 1 year is not a very long time. Tosfos and the Rosh explain that the Mishnah will typically cite an incident to support a previously stated ruling. Consequently, Rabbi Yehuda's statement is understood to be providing support for that opinion of the first anonymous Tana, who agrees with Rabbi Yehuda Nasi. Rabbeinu Peretz, an alternative answer to Tosfos, claim that the word completion is unsuitable for a single term Nazirite ship and applies only to one who vowed to observe several consecutive periods of Nazirite ship. In all, Rabbi Yehuda would not have used the terminology in reference to the Mishnah's previous statement, as he himself holds that the individual accepted only one term of Nazirite ship. And furthermore, does Rabbi Yehuda hold in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda Nasi? But it isn't taught in the Brisa. Rabbi Yehuda says, if one says, I am hereby a Nazirite like the number of piles, Helkite, there are many opinions as to the source of this word. Some say that it comes from the Greek heliktos, meaning something bent and rounded, like a kind of bracket. According to these explanations, the term helkite is used here to refer to piles of figs left out to dry. Others claim that helkite is derived from the Greek holkos, meaning a trail or path. Accordingly, the term is used here because when figs are laid out to dry, arranged with paths between them in order to allow the owner to attend to the figs. Or figs, kayits, a biblical word for figs that are left out to dry. The ends, catsart of figs, were cut to allow some of the latex, the milky substance found in figs, to flow out, and they were left in the sun to dry. Additionally, during the summer, kayits, the fields were filled with mounds of drying figs. And there's a picture here, figs with dripping latex left to dry, or like the number of sheaves in the sabbatical year. Shabbalei Shemitah. It is explained in the commentary on Nazir that since fields are not sown in the sabbatical year, the only produce that grows are aftergrowths of plants from the previous year. Consequently, they grow in sparse patches that can be counted. However, most commentaries, e.g. the Aruch, had a text of the Gemara that included the word Shavile path instead of Shabole. According to this version, a consequence of the fact that fields are not sown in the seventh year is that their owners do not mind if people walk through them, which leads to the formation of many paths. This version of the text is also cited in the commentary on Nazir. You must count as many Nazirite ships as the number of paths of figs or the number of sheaves of the sabbatical year. Spirit of Rabbi Yehuda does not hold that the individual accepts only one long term of Nazirite ship. The one responds, this is not proof that Rabbi Yehuda does not agree with Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, since one who specifies like the number is different, as even Rabbi Yehuda Nasi would agree that he is referring to distinct terms of Nazirite ship rather than one long term of Nazirite ship. The Gemara asks, and is the case of one who says like the number different according to Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, but isn't it taught in a Braita that if one says I am here by Nazirite, like the number of days in the solar year, he counts Nazirite ships corresponding to the number of days in the solar year. If one says like the days in a lunar year, i.e. a year comprised of 12 lunar months, he counts terms of Nazirite ship corresponding to the days in the lunar year. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi says he is assumed to have accepted one term of Nazirite ship until he says it's common on me to observe Nazirite ships like the number of days in the solar year, or like the number of days in the lunar year. This demonstrates that if one does not explicitly use the plural terms Nazirite ships, he is assumed to have accepted a single term Nazirite ship, even if he said like the number. The Gemara answers, Rabbi Yehuda holds in accordance to Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi's opinion in one case and disagrees with him in one case. He holds in accordance with his opinion in one case as follows. If one says, I am hereby Nazirite like the hairs of my head, he accepts upon himself one term of Nazirite ship for as many days as the number of hairs on his head. And disagrees with him in one case, as according to Rabbi Yehuda, the case of one who counts is different. According to this explanation, there are three distinct opinions cited in the Mishnah. According to the rabbis, one who takes a vow to be a Nazirite by mentioning something that divides into a number of distinct units is obligated to observe terms of Nazirite corresponding to that number. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi holds that unless one explicitly mentions the plural term Nazirite ships, one who vows in this manner intends to observe a single term of Nazirite ship lasting as many days as those units. According to both opinions, there is no difference whether or not the speaker mentions the word number. According to Rabbi Yehuda, one who mentions the word number, e.g. he says like the number of hairs of my head, he intends to accept separate terms of Nazirite ship. However, if he does not use this term, he intends to accept a single term of Nazirite ship. See the Rosh. From the previous case, and so one who states like the number of hairs of my head is considered to accept many distinct terms of Nazirite ship. However, according to Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, one who counts is not different. He is assumed to have accepted a single term of Nazirite ship unless he explicitly uses the plural term Nazirite ships. The sages taught, if one says, I am hereby a Nazirite all the days of my life, if one says, I am hereby a Nazirite all the days of my life, or I am hereby a permanent Nazirite, or becomes a permanent Nazirite, if he stipulates a fixed time in his vow, he is a Nazirite for that period of time, even if it is not longer than the human lifespan. Rambam Sefer Hilchot Nazir 3:11. Or I'm hereby a permanent Nazirite. He's a permanent Nazirite and trims his hair on a yearly basis like Absalom. However, in the case of one who accepts upon himself Nazirite for a fixed amount of time, even if he says 100 years, any fixed number is considered a single unit, and therefore this statement is an acceptance of a single term of Nazirite ship, or even 1,000 years. He is not the specific type of Nazirite known as a permanent Nazirite. Rather, he is a regular Nazirite forever, and he may never cut his hair. The sages taught in the Braita, if one said, I'm hereby a Nazirite and one, if one says, I'm hereby a Nazirite and one, he is obligated to observe 2 terms of Naziriteship. If he says, I'm hereby a Nazirite and one and another, he is obligated to observe 3 terms of Naziriteship. And if he adds, and again, he is a Nazirite for 4 terms, as stated in the Braita of Rambam Sefer Hilchot Nazirut 3:8. He counts 2 terms of Naziriteship, since he first took a vow, a Nazirite vow, and accepted an additional term of Naziriteship. If one said, I'm hereby Nazirite and one and more, he counts 3 terms of Naziriteship. If he added that statement and again he counts 4, the Gemara asks, isn't this last halacha obvious? The man says, it is necessary to teach this halacha, lest you say the words and again are referring to terms of Naziriteship equal in number to all the terms. The verse explains that the Gemara could have said that one might have thought that the words and more imply the same as the previous total, but it is preferred to address the last phrase mentioned in the Braita. He has already accepted, and he has therefore accepted 6 terms of Naziriteship altogether. The Braita therefore teaches us that this is not the correct interpretation of a statement. The sages taught in a Braita, if one said, I'm hereby Nazirite, Samachas says, if he added the word hen, which means one in Greek, he has accepted 1 term of Naziriteship. Most commentators explain that the novelty of Samachas' teaching is that one can accept Naziriteship in any language. The Rosh indicates that the novelty is that if one says, I'm hereby hen, or I'm hereby Digon, he's accepted one or 2 terms of Naziriteship respectively. This is because the phrase I am hereby served as an intimation of Naziriteship. Additionally, the words of Greek origin mentioned here are not numbers but rather refer to shapes with certain numbers of sides. And the novelty is that despite the imprecision of this language, understood that one is referring to terms of Naziriteship. If one said Digon, from the Greek digonon, meaning having 2 sides, and related to digonos, meaning again another time. Similarly, trigonon, meaning a triangle, and trigonos, meaning a 3rd time. Tetragon comes from the Greek tetragonon, meaning with 4 equal angles, regular, rectangular, or square. Pentagon comes from the Greek pentagonon, meaning 5-sided, and it's used here to mean a 5th time, which means 2 sides in Hebraicized Greek. He must observe 2 terms of Naziriteship. If one said trigon, which means triangle in Hebraicized Greek, he has accepted 3 terms of Naziriteship. If he said tetragon, quadrilateral in Hebraicized Greek, he said the 4 terms. And if he said pentagon in Hebraicized Greek, he accepted 5 terms of Naziriteship. The Gemara cites another Braita dealing with these same expressions. The sages taught a round house. Only a house with 4 walls can become impure with leprosy. If the house is round or has 3 or 5 walls, it cannot become impure with leprosy. If the house is round or has 3 or 4 or 5 walls, it cannot become impure. Rambam Sefer Tahara Hilchot Sarot 14:6. A 2-sided house, a triangle-shaped house, and a pentagon-shaped house cannot become impure with leprosy, whereas a house shaped like a quadrilateral can become impure with leprosy. So let's dive into that a bit more. Nege Votim. Leprosy of the house. By Torah, see Leviticus 14:33-57. If leprous spots appear on a house, all the objects in the house are removed in order to prevent them from becoming ritually impure. After which a priest is brought to examine the house. If the priest confirms that there is evidence of leprosy, the house is quarantined for a week, after which it is re-examined by the priest. If leopard spots have darkened or disappeared, the house is declared ritually pure. If the spots have remained unchanged, the house is quarantined for a second week. If the spots are then darkened, the house is declared ritually pure after undergoing a purification process. However, if the spots remain unchanged or have spread, the affected parts of the house are removed and replaced with new materials, after which the house is quarantined for a third week. If the spots reappear, the entire house must be destroyed, and the stones are disposed of in a ritually impure place. The leper's house renders people and objects inside ritually impure, and the exception of objects in hermetically sealed earthenware containers. If the house is declared free of leprosy, it is purified by a process involving birds, cedarwood, and red thread, parallel to the purification process of a leprous person. What is the reason for this? In the verse below it states, when referring to a wall, the plural term walls. What's the note here? It is noted in the commentary on Nazir that the writer does not expound every instance where the word wall appears in the verse pertaining to leprosy on a house, as the verse also states, and its appearance be lower than the wall. The verse goes 14:37. Rather, the writer expounds only the instances in which the plural wall is used necessarily instead of the single term wall. The other commentaries ask why plural terms are considered unnecessary, given that the Gemara derives from these terms that the house is considered to be afflicted with leprosy only if a symptom appears on the corner of the house, such as a single or broken spot based on two walls, and heading 71a. The Rosh answers that only one of the plural terms is necessary for that derivation, and the other usage serves as a source for the halacha that only a four-sided house can be afflicted with leprosy. Alternatively, Rabbeinu Peres states that if the plural term were used only in order to teach the symptom must appear on the corner of the house, the Torah would have used the same term throughout. And behold, if the plague had spread in the walls of the house, Leviticus 14:39. Additionally, in the verse above it states, when referring to a wall, the plural term walls, and behold, if the plague be in the walls of the house, Leviticus 14:37, these plural terms are necessary, and it is therefore understood that there are four walls mentioned here in order to indicate that a house can become impure through leprosy only if it has four sides. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you benefited, and take care. All the best. Bye.